All right, hey, what's up guys? It's Roy here, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about my top 5 things that I do not love about my Samsung Galaxy S22. So I've had this bad boy now for 2 months or so. I've had it since day one of its release to the public, and there's definitely some room for improvement from Samsung when they do decide to make the S23 or whatever they do decide to call the next flagship from the Galaxy lineup. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 things. I'll start with 5 being the not so bad to 1 being the worst thing that I think is wrong with the phone. And before we jump into this, I definitely want to thank the sponsor of this video, Simply Carbon Fiber. I will talk about them in just a bit. But let's start with my number 5 thing that I do not love about the S22. And that is going to be the shutter speed button when I'm trying to take a picture. So when I'm trying to take a picture of like my kids or anything like that, or capture a precious moment with them, it seems to always happen that that shutter speed button just has that little bit of a delay. Now, granted, I know I've had that issue before with other Galaxy phones, but I would have thought by now they would have figured out why and fix it. Because when I use my iPhone 13 Pro, my Google Pixel 6, or my OnePlus 10 Pro that I have right here that I just picked up, I push that shutter button and it takes a picture instantly. I do not have any lag. And like I said, it's only sometimes. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, it seems to happen when I don't want it to. And that's like when like I said, I'm trying to take pictures of my kids, which we all know kids have nitrous oxide in their veins and they can't sit still. And so that is kind of one of my just little quirky little issues that I have with the phone. So like I said, it's only a couple of seconds, but at the end of the day, it's still an annoying thing regardless. And number 4, it's going to be that they actually changed the size of the motors, or the motor, I should say, excuse me, for the haptic feedback on the phone. So they went a little bit smaller versus the S21. And I'm not sure why, because I've watched and read some things about it saying that they could have kept it the same. And normally I'm not one to complain about the haptic feedback. I've always watched videos on YouTube about people complaining about the haptic feedback on phones, and I use them and then I'm like, they seem fine. But this one is definitely one of the phones that I have had issues with when it does vibrate or something. So when I'm using it normal and there's no issues at all when I'm doing that. So if I'm just navigating through the phone normal, the vibration or the feedback is fine. It's when I have the phone in my pocket for a long period of time, that's where it becomes an issue, because I have my phone on vibrate probably 99% of the time. I never have it on ring. And that's where my issue lies, is because if I have my phone in my pocket and I don't check it for a little while, it always turns into this game of how many phone calls did I miss, or how many text or notifications did I miss, because when I pull it out, all of a sudden on my always on display, I have a slew of just notifications. And so is it a big deal? No. If you're someone that uses the ring feature instead of the vibrate feature, then this is obviously not an issue at all for you. But that vibration intensity is not as strong as it used to be. So that is a little bit of a knock on the phone. And before we dive into the top 3 things, what I want to do is talk about Simply Carbon Fiber. So Simply Carbon Fiber is a company that makes carbon fiber accessories for your phone, wallet, sunglasses, you name it, guys, watches. They make everything with carbon fiber, and it's real genuine carbon fiber, which is insane. And this here that I picked up from them is their slim kind of cash card wallet here that's made of genuine carbon fiber, but it can hold up to 7 cards. So you got a little card slot here that you can push out, but 7 cards there that you can fit in there. And then it also has a money clip on the back where I can actually put some money. As you can see, I actually have a Best Buy receipt folded there as well. But what it does is it helps me eliminate having to put my normal wallet in my pocket when I'm wearing like gym shorts or workout shorts, which typically don't have back pockets. This has been a lifesaver and a game changer for me over the last few weeks of me using it, because it's not as bulky. Obviously, it's very slim, it's very small. It's very scratch resistant. I've had it in the same pocket with keys that I normally keep in my right pocket. This is where this goes. And it has been flawless, guys. It's been great. So if you want to pick up anything from Simply Carbon Fiber, just simply go to simplycarbonfiber.com Roy and use my promo code ROY10 to get 10% off your entire purchase. So let's jump back into the top 3 of my 5 things I don't like about the S22. So my number 3 issue is going to be that the phone does not have an LTPO display. So originally when Samsung announced all the specs about the phone, they did say that it was going to have an LTPO display. And then they retracted that statement and said that it was only going to drop down to 60 hertz instead of like 1 or 10 hertz. And really that LTPO display would really help and benefit this phone in a lot of different ways, obviously with battery life and everything. Granted, my top 3 are going to revolve around the battery, so obviously that's kind of the Achilles heel of this phone. But lacking a LTPO display, I think, is a huge whiff on Samsung's part. They should have really put that on there on this phone. I mean, so that's my number 3. Now, number 2 is going to be the charging speeds of the phone. So in 2022, anything sub of like 30 or 35 watts is not really industry standard anymore, in my opinion. So 25 watts on a smartphone in 2022 is not terrible, but it's not great either. Especially on a phone that is having battery life issues, you would like to have a phone that is able to charge very quickly in a very short period of time. So that way, if you're in a jam, you can plug it in for maybe 10, 15 minutes and get maybe 30 or 40% out of that. Because a perfect example is this OnePlus 10 Pro right here. It came with a 65 watt charger that can charge that phone in 35 minutes from 0 to 100%. So that's huge, and that phone has a 5,000 milliamp battery and doesn't need that charger, but it's a huge benefit and a big selling point for that phone. So I think Samsung, 1, lacking a charger in the box, but then 2, giving us very subpar charging speeds, I think is a swing and a miss for Samsung. And my number 1 thing is obviously going to be about battery, and that's the downgrading size of the battery life at 3,700 milliamps now. That in 2022 standards is a tiny battery, and it just started giving me like the old nightmares and reminiscing about the Google Pixel 4 when that came out, because it was a great small phone, but what plagued that phone was horrible battery life. And that's kind of what's happening with the S22. Now, the battery life isn't terrible. If you're a power user, it's going to suck. If you're not a power user, then you don't care. The battery life does okay. My first day with it out of the box, I got like 5.5 hours of screen on time, and I was like, oh, okay, with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip and like the optimization of everything, it's not going to be terrible. But the longer I've used it, the more the battery's a little wonky for me. Some days I'm getting 5 hours, some days I'm getting 5.5, some days I've even gotten 4 hours of screen on time. It just really depends on how much you use your phone. But I think it was a really big swing and a miss, once again, for Samsung to downgrade the battery size, because let's be real, the S21 battery wasn't even that great, but at least that was a little bit bigger of a battery. And I think this phone definitely could have taken advantage of that. So those are my top 5 things, guys. If I missed anything, do comment down below and let me know if there's anything that you feel like is a kind of a bad thing about this phone as well. Because to be honest with you, I really do love this phone, and this video was hard to actually come up with something to talk negatively about the phone. So that's a testament to this phone. But at the end of the day, like I said, there is no perfect phone out there. So I do think the S22 does check a lot of the boxes, but there are some that they miss on. So if you are interested in me doing more S22 videos, guys, let me know down in the comments as well, because I would love to share whatever with you if that is of interest to you. And be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. And then if you are interested in getting up-to-date content, be sure to ring that bell as well. So be safe, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.